Welcome students. Today we are dealing with class 12 biology reproduction in flowering plants part 2. First we will deal with pollen grains, their importance. So some species cause allergies and bronchial afflictions in people. For example, asthma and bronchitis. So some pollen grains, when they enter our respiratory system, they cause diseases like allergies and infection in bronchi. Now Parthenium or carrot grass, it causes pollen allergy. You might be knowing that it is a weed. Some pollens are also beneficial. They are rich in nutrients and are used as food supplements. So they are used as additional nutrients. In Western or European countries, the pollen are used as tablets and syrups. It is claimed to increase the performance of athletes and horses. So some people believe that it increases the performance. It produces more energy. It gives more nutrition. So it is used by athletes and horses. So there are some beneficial effects as well as some harmful effects of pollen grains. Here we can see some pollen products. In the left side there is a bee pollen cream, then syrup, energy shake, which is being used in European countries, and in the right side you can see tablets. So these are being used nowadays. Now we will see the viability of pollen grain. So viability is the ability of a pollen to deliver male gamete to embryo sac. So it is the capacity of a pollen to carry the male gamete to embryo sac. The pollen have to land on stigma before they lose the capacity to fertilize. So before the pollen lands on stigma, there is a certain period after which it will lose the capacity. Viability depends on temperature and humidity of surroundings. So the pollen will be active for how much duration? It will depend on temperature of surrounding and humidity or moisture. It is of variable duration in different plants. In cereals like wheat and rice, we can see the pollen lose viability within 30 minutes of release. So in cereals, as soon as the pollen is released, within half an hour, it becomes non-viable. In some members of Rosaceae, for example rose, Leguminosae, for example pulses, and Solanaceae, for example potato, the pollen is viable for months. So they remain in environment active for months. Nowadays, since technology has been developed, the pollen can be stored in liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees centigrade for years. So we have made some pollen banks. Scientists have made some pollen banks where pollen grain can be stored. Now we will see the female part, pistil or carpel. So a collection of pistil or carpels is called gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of flower. Gynoecium with a single pistil. So if a gynoecium has only a single pistil, it is called monocarpellary, and when it has many pistils, it is called multicarpellary. When many pistils are fused, it is called syncarpous. Syn means together. When many pistils are free, the condition is called apocarpous. So when they are free. Now a pistil has three main parts: stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is the landing platform for pollen. So the pollen lands on stigma. Style is the elongated and long part below the stigma, and ovary is the part at the base which is bulged. Bulged means swollen or round. Inside the ovary there is a cavity which is called locule. So ovarian cavity is called locule. Here we can see some diagrams related to pistil. A diagram, it is a dissected flower of hibiscus or China rose, which we call gudhal in Hindi. It has stigma, style, ovary and thalamus, which is a cup-shaped structure. Then in the B part we can see a multicarpellary syncarpous pistil of papaver. Papaver is poppy plant, which gives drug morphine. So we can see many carpels are fused. In the C diagram, there is another multicarpellary flower. It is apocarpus. All are free. We can see all the carpels are free. It is Michelia plant. And in the D diagram, we can see an ovule, Anatropous ovule. So ovules are of different types. Here we can see Anatropous ovule. So ovule has embryo sac in the center. Embryo sac contains the female gamete or egg. Then surrounding tissue is called nucellus, which provides nutrition. Then integuments, outer and inner layers. At one area we can see integument is absent. It is in the form of a pore which is called micropylar pole. Opposite to micropyle is the base of ovule called chalazal pole. Then there is a funicle or stalk and a part called hilum which connects the ovule to the funicle. So this diagram is important. Next, placenta is located inside a locule. So the placenta is found inside a locule or cavity. It connects ovule to ovary wall. So we know that placenta connects ovule to the ovary wall and provides nutrition. Ovules are called megasporangia. So mega means large. It is another term for ovules. Number of ovules in ovary may be 1, as in wheat, paddy and mango, and number of ovules in ovary may be many. Example, papaya, watermelon and orchid. So there are large number of ovules and as a result large number of seeds. Now megasporangium or ovule. In the last slide we studied the figure. So here are some main points. A small structure attached to placenta by a stalk is called funicle. Hilum is a junction between ovule and funicle. Each ovule has 1 to 2 protective envelopes called integuments. So we are just revising the figure. Micropyle is a small opening at tip. Opposite micropylar end is chalaza. It is basal part of ovule. Enclosed in integuments is a mass of cells called nucellus. Nucellus cells have abundant reserve food. Nucellus has embryo sac or female gametophyte. So these are the main parts of a ovule. Megasporogenesis. So it is the process of formation of megaspore from MMC or megaspore mother cell. Ovules differentiate or they form a single MMC in micropylar region of nucellus. So ovules differentiate and they form a single micropylar, a single megaspore mother cell in micropylar region. The MMC is large cell and contains dense cytoplasm and a developed and large nucleus. It undergoes meiosis and produces 4 megaspores. So the mother cell undergoes meiosis and forms 4 megaspores. Here we can see the diagrams. First, A diagram, we can see micropylar end, then megaspore mother cell, which is a large cell with nucellus surrounding it. In the next diagram, we can see the megaspore divides to form 2 cells or dyad. It is meiotic division. Then it again divides to form 4 cells, megaspore tetrad. Of these tetrad, the upper 3 cells degenerate, while the lower cell, in this the nuclear division takes place. So the bottom cell, in it nuclear division is taking place and nucleus divides into 2, then nucleus divides into 4, then 8, and finally the nuclei are arranged. So this is called free nuclear division, because nuclear is dividing but the cross walls are not being formed. And after that we can see cross walls are being formed, and finally we can see 7 cells. So there are 3 cells called antipodals at chalazal end. In the center there is a central cell with 2 polar nuclei. In the bottom we can see there are 3 cells, 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. This egg cell contains female gamete. The synergids have finger-like structures at the bottom, and these are called filiform apparatus. So they produce certain sugar which guide the pollen grain for entry. And below the filiform apparatus is the micropylar end, because it contains the pore, the micropylar pore. So this is a mature embryo sac. So the C diagram is very important. Now we can see the description. Out of 4 megaspores formed by mother cell, 1 is functional. So we saw that only the bottom one was functional, while the others degenerate. Only functional megaspore develops into female gametophyte or embryo sac. This method of embryo sac formation from a single megaspore is called monosporic development. So when a single megaspore forms the embryo sac, it is called monosporic development. Now we can see how the division takes place. Nucleus of functional megaspore, the single megaspore which survived, divides by mitosis. So when the nucleus was dividing, it was by mitosis to form 2 nuclei which move to opposite poles, forming 2 nucleate embryo sac. 2 more mitotic nuclear division result in 4 nucleate, then 8 nucleate. These divisions are free nuclear because cross walls were not formed. After 8 nucleate stage, cell wall are laid down. So after the 8 nucleus have been formed, the cell walls are formed. 3 cells are formed at micropylar end. They form the egg apparatus. The egg apparatus is made of 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. Synergids have spatial thickening at micropylar tip called filiform apparatus, and they guide the pollen tube into synergid. Now 3 antipodal cells were formed at chalazal end, and a large central cell has 2 polar nuclei. Thus we can say that embryo sac at maturity is 8 nucleate and 7 celled. Okay children, so the embryo sac has 7 cells and 8 nucleus in angiosperms. Thanks.